You know, they should really remove the T because it's our stage if you really think about it. Happy Gamescom, everyone! Stage Tour has had a significant presence this year, and I'm really excited to talk about both the deep dive as well as the new trailer. The trailer gave us a peek at the set list with over 90 songs, that's incredible, as well as a release date, which we'll be getting back to. First things first though, the game has significantly improved from its original February 2026 reveal trailer, and all of my criticisms have been fully addressed. To start, more languages have been added, which I know many will dearly appreciate. The two that I brought up in my video were Latin American Spanish and Brazilian Portuguese, which I felt needed to have representation, and it seems that Red Octane agrees. My biggest criticism at the time, however, was the highway. The original reveal trailer had the majority of the HUD set under the strike line, which I felt wasn't intuitive for people who are typically trying to look forward to see upcoming notes. Red Octane has since shifted nearly all of the HUD elements forward to be in line with the oncoming notes, similar to the later Guitar Hero games, which is great. The HUD in its entirety has seemingly been completely redesigned, with brand new note models, highway textures, and animations giving the game a far livelier appearance than the previous trailer. In hindsight, it's both hilarious and sad that so many people were instantly writing the game off for these elements back in February. Meanwhile, any of the recently released Guitar Hero prototypes from less than 6 months before release can truly show how much game development can change in a short amount of time. The Stage Tour devs also have the benefit of patches on their side, unlike Neversoft and Harmonix did in the 2010s. What we're seeing in the Gamescom trailer is still subject to change, and I think a lot of elements will be polished even further before launch. We were additionally given a closer look at the new Kramer, which has a simplified design compared to the older cracked instruments that released last year. The Kramer itself appears to be most similar to the Black Tribal cracked Les Paul, and what I mean by that is that the neck will have silicone frets along with a clicky Hall effects drum bar. They changed the position on the guitar where the dongle is stored, now being stored inside of the neck itself, which I think is a smart move. We were also given early looks at a new Les Paul, a new SG, and a brand new Explorer, along with the Stage Tour drum set, which looks similar to the Rock Band one back in the day, but with optional cymbal attachments, along with an extra bass pedal for if you would like to play the Pro charts. We were also given a short glimpse at the cracked microphone that will be shipping with Stage Tour as well, with both a wired as well as wireless model, with the latter featuring a dongle hiding on the inside of the microphone, which is very clever. Getting back to the game itself, there was an unfortunately common sentiment that was shared in the comment section of my previous video. Many players believe that Stage Tour will be fighting an uphill battle with the likes of Clone Hero and Yarg already in existence. I actually do disagree with this sentiment quite a bit. For starters, Red Octane basically has an open market for console players. Rock Band 4 was delisted and now costs more than the consoles that it originally was made for. Guitar Hero Live's Online is dead, and Fortnite Festival may as well be dead in itself. If you watch my videos, you know that Fortnite Festival has had a foot in the grave since mid-2025 at least, and with it being tethered to Fortnite with a rotating song selection leading to a fear of missing out, along with the lack of must-have features such as practice mode, many hardcore players in the scene have completely written it off at this point, leading to some of the lowest player numbers we've yet seen. I understand that Fortnite Festival isn't necessarily as much of a high ROI gameplay model as Battle Royale is, but the lack of upkeep that Festival frequently gets shows the lack of care applied by Epic. The gameplay loop isn't dead, it's heavily missed. I was at Free Play in Providence a couple weeks ago, and the line to play the Guitar Hero arcade machine basically wrapped around the inside of the place. People really do miss and want to experience 5-fret again, but the fact of the matter is, aside from the few games that I had mentioned previously, there were few viable ways to play these games on console, and nowadays, unless you like Fortnite, there still isn't. And that's exactly what Stage Tour is trying to fix and why I think it'll likely succeed. But Danny, what about the PC players that already have access to Yarg and Clone Hero? What does Stage Tour offer that those experiences do not? Well, for starters, in order to play the older Guitar Hero set lists on something like Clone Hero or Yarg, you do technically have to pirate them. You are technically committing a crime. Now, I'm well aware that most people don't give a single shit about this, and that's fair enough. I'm no better than anyone else. I've pirated my fair share of Guitar Hero and Rock Band songs throughout the years. However, nowadays, your Stage Tour purchases are going to directly support both the artists as well as the developers that brought you this content in the first place. Additionally, you are getting more content than you were back in the day. On top of lead, rhythm, drums, and vocals, you're additionally getting 2 different varieties of pad charts, 4-fret and 5-fret. Both of these can be comfortably experienced on any normal controller. And what I find very interesting is that the developers didn't cram the lead chart into something that could be played on a normal controller like Fortnite Festival does, but instead crafted unique charts that take elements of each instrument and mesh them together into a beautiful stew of a chart that you can play on a normal controller. Lead elements, drum elements, and vocal elements can all be experienced on a single chart similar to an Eastern rhythm game, which is very unique and interesting to see in a 5-fret formula. But it's more than just the chart. charts. If you stick with something like Clone Hero or Yarg, you're also missing out on Judgement Mode. Similar to Fortnite Festival, this mode incentivizes you to go for as many perfect notes as possible. And if you can somehow manage to get them all, you'll get the coveted 1 million note score, which is insane. What I'm most looking forward to, however, is the new tour mode. Now, we don't have a ton of details how this is going to work. We know it's going to be a progression-based system, where depending on how many stars you earn playing a song, you can use that as currency in the in-game item shop to unlock character skins or effect pedals, which would alter the gameplay slightly, letting you score higher, for example, or potentially giving you more stage presence. It's a really cool idea that I don't think has been done before. One of the biggest criticisms that both Clone Hero and Yarg get on a regular basis is the lack of progression, so the fact that Stage Tour is not only reintroducing a progression system, but introducing a really damn strong one by the sound of it, really is a selling point in and of itself, and I personally can't wait to try out the tour mode. Once again, this is coming from someone who has access to Clone Hero, Yarg, World Tour Definitive Edition, Fast Guitar Hero 3, pretty much every fan project under the sun right on his computer. I'm still looking forward to Stage Tour because it is going to legitimately introduce new gameplay features that you won't be able to get anywhere else. And once again, that's coming from a PC user. If you predominantly play on console, you're in an even better spot, and there's so much more to talk about, such as the endless customization and the gigantic set list. For this, I'm going to be making a standalone video on my side channel. It's not going to be scripted, but I'm going to give my honest opinions on the songs that have already been revealed so far, one by one. I figure you probably didn't want to wait 3 weeks for me to finish scripting this video and edit it into something professional on this channel, or at least whatever counts as professional when it comes to my content. In conclusion, I genuinely do think that we're in for a treat when it comes to Stage Tour, and the release date of December 10th is perfect. Right before holiday season, it's going to make a fantastic Christmas gift, and it's coming out after Grand Theft Auto 6, so it won't get its toes stepped on. Fantastic work, Red Octane Games. I cannot wait to see what's next. The only thing that could make this better is if they printed a physical copy. Oh my god!